Hello, I'm Danielle, the founder and CEO of Athletesia, and welcome to another video where I'm going to be taking you through the first set of prototypes that I received for the hoodie, non-zip hoodie, the full zip hoodie. I will take these off in a moment. There you go. We're going to keep it real. We're not going to cut that out. And then also the cuff joggers and the straight leg joggers as well. Now, first of all, I just want to say, when I received the first batch for the first Protos, I was blown away. Quality, absolutely amazing. So many things super on point. I was like, wow, I feel like we've only got one more round and then that's it. We're good to go. So I just want to talk through some of the key points. So for the non-zip hoodie, there wasn't really actually anything major wrong with this at all. First of all, it was the zip, making sure it was cohesive with the rest of the item. So just having that a darker color. Then the arms super long. So they were dangling over my actual hand. And so that needed to be shortened. And then also the length of it, it was just one of those things where it was too long. Now it might be a case where in the future I do something like this that's really oversized and relaxed. But for now, it didn't match what it was actually meant to be. But apart from that, everything else was on point. Apart from another point now. So my family, so I take all my samples when we're together and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are the samples. And so they love them. But one of the key things with this is you couldn't see the logo. And so that was something that had to be adapted. And I'll share when I do the next video as to what changed on that front. But then also it was the positioning of it too. But for me, those were just minor details that we needed to look at. When it came to the zip hoodie, again, the zip wasn't aligned with the tech pack just in terms of the color of it. And then also the logo, it was super far. So it was more or less under my arm versus it being in a position that was actually visible. And then the arm length was great, which was brilliant. And by the way, I wear this all the time. I actually had to wash this last night to make sure I could bring it with me. And then also the length of it a little bit longer than it needed to be. Now, one of the key things that I really want to point out with this set as well is, let me just go back to the non-zip hoodie, is one of the things that I find so freaking frustrating is where I'm wearing a non-zip hoodie, or the one with the pouches, and I'm just like, okay, I've got two places where I can put my hands, but I can't put anything in there because it's not going to hold in there. It's going to fall out and it's just crazy. And I appreciate that's the look and feel. So what was really important for me is to create something whereby there were pockets, but not just any pockets which could fit an iPhone Pro Max in, because that's the phone that I have. And I wanted it to also be one of those things where everybody else out there who's, potentially got that same frustration, that was going to be able to solve that issue for them. And also when it comes to the non-zip hoodie, the whole idea of having the zip here, and there's a little story. So, when you put on a hoodie and you put it on, number one, you're just like, oh my God, my makeup. You got to protect your face if you're wearing makeup. Then also alongside that, if you've got AirPods in, they pop out and fly on the floor. And then I was speaking to my sister, hopefully she won't mind me saying this. And she was like, yeah, and then my wig, it then impacts the wig because it's the hole for you to get your head through is always just so small. So it was a case of just having something where that wouldn't cause that issue. So that's just some fun stories on that one. And then also when it comes to the zip hoodie, again, having those pockets whereby you can actually fully use them, you can zip them, and you do not have to worry about things dropping out. And then when it comes to the cuff joggers, so what was really important for this is I was just like to my manufacturer, bum, hips and thighs. I need these to be super comfortable for my customers. I don't want them to wear them and feel like they're tight within certain areas because we all have different body types, which is absolutely beautiful. And I want to make sure that, you watching this right now, you feel totally comfortable in these. And then also the length of them, it was a bit short. So, oh my gosh, depending on what area you're from, when I was growing up, and if you had, you know, trousers that were too tight or, you know, too short, they were called, was it squinters or squint up? Someone in the comments is going to correct me, but it was something along those lines. So when I was wearing these and walking, it was one of those things where it felt like it was just giving on my leg because the length wasn't where it needed to be. And so those were really the main things that we needed to correct. Another thing just in regards to the zips, and you'll see this in the next video, is that where they're hidden, so they're more invisible. That's not what you're going to see in the next one, but the actual attachment, it was just too fiddly. And so even when we think about things from an accessibility viewpoint, I was like, this is not going to work. And if you've just creamed your hands, for example, it's going to be one of those things whereby it's going to be annoying. When it comes to the straight leg, so they couldn't actually give me these in black because they just used what fabrics they had within the factory, which is awesome. It's all good. So these were literally ankle swingers. They were swinging on my ankles and I'm like, nah, this isn't attractive. This isn't going to work. And so it was a case of re-looking at the length of these. White is not going to be a color. And when I put these on, and you might be able to see it, but you can actually see through too as well. So even when it was a case of thinking about the colors, it was like, look, if I do a lighter color, I need to make sure that there isn't that issue there. So length of these was the main thing. And also the logo was actually bigger than it was for the joggers. So the cuff joggers. So it was a case of making sure that all of the logos were aligned. And so that's a run through of all of the first round of protos for the joggers, straight leg, zip hoodie and non-zip hoodie. And I very much look forward to bringing some color to the next video with the second round of protos. Thank you so much for watching.